Hello DevOps people, how is everyone? I'm Jochen, welcome to my live coding stream. And if you look down there, I think, in the lower left corner, you'll see that I've kind of rebranded my stream. I've changed the name to something more expressive, Full Stack Live. I think it covers well what I'm doing here because basically I'm doing everything that is in the DevOps space from application level down to the bare metal. And I thought that Full Stack Live would fit the stream well. If you agree or if you have a different opinion, please pop in the chat. As well as if you have any questions, if you think the things I say don't make sense, let me know and we'll have a nice little discussion. So, for today, I'd like to continue where I left off on Tuesday. On Tuesday, let me just pull up the issue. It's closed now. I built continuous integration and continuous deployment for a Middleman website. And if you'd like to know why that makes sense, having continuous integration for basically a static website, then you can watch the session recording. It will still be there on Twitch, and it's preserved on YouTube as well, as you can see in this link. So we'll stay with the Middleman topic and take another step here. What I'd like to do today is update my Docker image for the Middleman website and then see how we can launch Middleman on Container, a Docker orchestration platform we are using at FireSteel IT. And that will basically pave the way so that we can run Middleman websites on our own Docker infrastructure instead of pushing them to S3 or launching them as small Heroku applications. Hey Markus, nice to have you on the stream. All right, so looking at my project directory, I realized that I already had worked on Dockerising the application. There already is a Docker file, and we can simply take a look here. The Docker file builds on the Ruby image, and I guess we should update the Ruby version to something more recent. It installs a few things that Middleman needs to generate the static files. The image exposes port 5000. I guess, yeah, it makes sense to do it this early. And then it installs the current working directory into the Docker image, runs a bundle install inside the container so that we have the right Ruby environment. Then it runs bundle exec middleman build, which executes the static file generator. And in the end, I'm actually running a small little web server, in this case rack, and that's why we expose port 5000. This allows us to serve all the generated static files without having to do a lot of stuff. Of course, we could also run or serve the static files over an Apache or Nginx web server. But since rack is already part of the general Ruby environment, it is perfectly viable as our web server here. Also, rec allows us to define things like redirects very simply. Okay, so what I'd like to do is switch from Ruby 2.3.5 to 2.4.2. Shouldn't make much of a difference, but it'll be supported for a longer time. And then I always like to have my stuff automated in a rake file. Let me see if there are already things. Of course there are. Here is the Docker namespace. So I can run a Docker build, I can run Docker push, and I can run the Docker container. I don't even need Docker compose because there is only a single container, and that's easily started with Docker run. And the Docker image name must be somewhere up here. I see. So it already creates a Docker image. Even for the container image registry we are using. So yeah, I must have thought ahead quite a bit when I did this, and I actually don't remember when I did this. Let me take a look at the back in December. Okay. Well, fine. Maybe we'll be finished a bit early today. So let's see how this works. Rake Docker build. No, not guild. So it's build. Okay. Now we are copying the application into the container. First we install all the necessary gems. Okay, so now we have a conflict between the Ruby version that is installed in the container and the Ruby version that is specified in the gem file. So let's correct this. This looks like we're having a problem with native extensions. Probably because we don't have the build essentials meta package installed. actually are installed. This could as well be a problem with the JSON gem. So let's take a look at our gem file. JSON is only a secondary dependency. We don't depend on JSON directly. Huh. It's probably because okay, we have some version issues because this website still uses Middleman 3, and font awesome Middleman was resolved to 4.5.0, and that will probably not. No, it's 4.5.0, which depends on Middleman core, and in the end we need JSON. Huh, this is strange. But maybe our gem combination simply won't work with Ruby 2.4, so let's stay with 2.3.5 for the time being. There's no urgent need to change this. Working out gem dependencies on the stream is boring, so I'll do this at a later time. Yep, this time it works. Maybe I'll combine updating the Ruby version with updating the Middleman version as well. Why have to paint twice? But until then, I'm happy with Ruby 2.3. Come on. Nokogiri always takes a lot of time to compile all the stuff that is necessary. Okay, now we're almost done. A few warnings, which I should resolve eventually. Now it builds the website. And that's it. We now have a new Docker image, and I can run this. Break Docker run. Looks like port 5000 is already in use. Not by a Docker container, at least. Okay. We can always run it on a different port. So let me see. So it's just about 5000. Okay. So let's use port 8081 and map that to the containers port 5000. And if I'm going to do a curl localhost 8081, I get something back, but not much. Okay, it's just a redirect. So let's see what the redirect is. Oh, it does a redirect to HTTPS. Okay, we'll take this into account. The website is configured to always redirect to SSL, which will make it difficult to test. Interesting. Not sure how to deal with that. This should probably only happen in production. Let me see how it's done. It's probably in the rackup configuration. Oh yeah, I'm using rec SSL. Could guard this with an environment variable. Something like this. then we'll simply start the container with an environment variable. Still. Oh, I need to rebuild it, of course. Oh, I have to apologize, I'm a bit tired, which might also be a reason that I'll be doing a shorter session today. Okay, that's that. Let's run it again. Here we go. Now I get the whole website. Nice. Okay. Let's create a quick branch. Commit. Well, it would make sense to document this in the README. And I guess it makes sense to add it here as well. In this case, I don't even have to document it here, do I? That's definitely not true anymore since last session. Sufficient. Hey Slayerdrath, how you doing? Our most regular follower. Bad connection to your Twitch node? I did change my username, I'm sorry for the confusion, but I thought it would be a good idea from a branding point of view. Okay, I really have a hard time concentrating today. Production application will enforce SSL encryption to keep development simple. This is disabled if Docker container and variable devenv is set. We could move this here. Okay. No one wants to see a full stack guy. They all want to be the DevOps guy. Yeah. Maybe I should have done some market research. To be honest, I think full stack describes things much better than DevOps. There's quite a lot contention in the community if DevOps even is a job description or if it's not, rather the more abstract set of processes and tools and things that enable having a end-to-end process from say idea of an application to its deployment, and I'm inclined to see it that way. So I don't think I'd try and hire a DevOps engineer. However, I can imagine what companies mean if they are looking for a full stack developer, someone who isn't only versed on the application level but also can take care of the underlying layers. Okie dokie, let's run another rake Docker build, just for shits and giggles. People want to fix servers, not slap colors on a web page? Huh. Maybe you should talk to Marcus after he had to take care of a server in the middle of the night. Okay, that's that. And so I rake Docker pusher. Oof. Okay. Okay. Works. Brilliant. Nice. Okay, so now we have our image. Quick draw, hello! How are things? Good to have you in the stream. Okay, so now we have our Docker image, and that should enable me to build a container stack for this. Still stuck? Oh, thank you, I'm good. Bit tired. Actually, I don't know exactly why, because for a change I had quite a good sleep this night, but it's probably the weather too. It's very strange out here in Bray today. Windy, but hot, humid, and blah. Okay. So let's switch to another tmux session. That has our container development stacks, and we'll build another stack which are called F7 box website. F7 short for Freistyle, because it's the Freistyle box website. And all we need now is a container YAML file. How did I build this web test stack? We need a stack, version description, we need services, and that's more or less it. Okay. Stack description. We call the service Middleman. Oh, it's the your connection to from the office. You should talk to your manager. Hey, can't watch an important stream. Let's up our game here. Get some decent megabits here. The image is... That's probably at least this one. I'm not sure if I have to specify the repository as well. We'll see. What's the name of the image? Oh, that's somewhere else. There was a key combination that let me switch tmux sessions, but I'm not sure what it was. So let's go the more straightforward way. Box dash website, okay. And we will not expose the port, instead we'll integrate it with the load balancer. Prefix process. Well, why not try it? Nope, that's something different in my configuration. I hit it accidentally a few days ago, but I don't remember what it was. I don't switch Tvox sessions too often. So let's see, how do we integrate the load balancer? I'll simply go to the container documentation. I'll have to link it with our load balancer. Which is ingress lb/lb. And then I have to specify a few environment variables. And that's mainly the container LB virtual hosts, I think. Let's use a development domain first. Or we could use hash notation here. And the internal port, which is not 80 this time. It's 5000. Okay. I'm not sure if something is missing, but it doesn't look like it, so let's simply give it a try. Yeah, I know a programmer who want to show me how to do Elixir, Ecto Basics and Phoenix Framework. I'll pay them $100. Okay. Yeah, but as I said, well, yeah, maybe you need to wait until after my vacation. Maybe I'll come back as an Elixir god, which I don't think, but... Okay, why is Vim running in my second window? That's completely bogus. Okay, now we can do a container stack install. Hey Kezor, how are you doing? No, you're not too late. Isn't Middleman supposed to be a static page generator? Yes, it is. Why would you need running processes and load balancers to serve its content? Just S3 acting as web server. Maybe Nginx should suffice. You're perfectly right. You're perfectly right. The thing is, what I'd like to do is, I'd like to run this static website. And first I had it running in S3, so S3 served all the static files. However, then I ran into the problem that I had to do a lot of redirects to preserve old URLs for SEO reasons, and configuring redirects on Amazon is just a huge pain in the ass. So I changed my configuration just a bit by adding rack as the web server into the equation, and simply by putting rack in front of my static files, I was able to do redirects quite easily, and I could deploy the website simply by switching from S3 to a little Heroku dyno. Running a few requests via rack really doesn't take a lot of resources. And now I'm going to switch from using Heroku to our own Docker orchestration platform, which is Container. We don't use Kubernetes, we use Container, and that's why I'm building a Docker image, or I've already built a Docker image that has rack running on port 5000. And with this stack definition, I can run not only the image on our container platform, but also I don't have to expose its port 5000 to some port. Well, I'd have to expose it to port 80, I guess, at least, by simply linking it to our load balancer service, which runs on the same platform, and setting two environment variables, namely please take everything that this container runs on port 5000 and serve it over your already configured port 80 and 443, and please use this domain name to forward stuff to this Middleman container here. So it's still pretty simple, but it's much more powerful than staying with the pure static approach. Awesome explanation. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so... Okay, yeah. I guess I need to prefix my image with the container repository, just as I did when I built the image. So let's switch back to this. It's images.container.io/freistyle. Well, doesn't the container documentation also talk about image registry here? Yeah, okay. So I use this prefix here. Oops. And organization, of course, is freistyle. Don't think I need this duplicated, and that should be it, I think. The first deployment always takes a while because it needs to download the image. Just catching up on the chat. Kaiser writes, yep, S3 has problems, also it doesn't support the vary header, which is why I used CloudFront in front of a tiny server with Nginx. Yeah, see, I guess that's what most of the people run into. They start with S3 because it's easy. You use small command line application to sync everything to your S3 bucket, and you're done. However, as soon as you need a tiny little bit more functionality, you're basically screwed. And then just adding a bit more intelligence there in the form of Nginx in your case, or rack in my case, resolves the issue. Oh, come on. What's taking so long here? Okay. So, let me see. Yep. Service is running. And if we're really, really lucky, I can even access the website. Nope. Oh, interesting. I can, but it'll immediately redirect to SSL, which with HTTPS, and I haven't set up that yet. Where I'm from, I'm German, but I live in Ireland, a little bit south of Dublin. I've moved here 5 years ago, and I'm pretty happy with everything. Even the weather, even though it's still a bit too humid for me today. Normally it's perfectly okay, and it doesn't go above 25 degrees. So I can still sleep at night if I'm not doing other things like running World of Warcraft raids, but yeah, that's a completely different topic. Well, to be honest, I'm a bit too tired to set up SSL. It'll be an interesting thing because Contina works with Let's Encrypt out of the box, but since it's the first time I'll be setting it up, that will be a bit of a struggle to wrap my head around all those things, and I guess I'll leave that for later. Just to see if things work, I'll resort to my dev environment trick. So as an Irish German, what is your destination for the holidays? Actually, I'll spend a few weeks with my family on a North Sea island, on a German one, on Borkum, because it's a great climate, and both my wife and daughter have slight skin conditions that get a lot better up there, and that's why we are spending a few weeks up there. And somewhere along the line I'll need another swimming holiday somewhere, Canary Islands or something like that. Yeah, these North Sea islands are pretty nice. They at least the island we are going to, it's of course pretty small. You can probably jog around it, and there aren't any cars except for the locals. You can only go there by ferry, but not with your car. So you leave that back on the continent, and we are traveling there by plane and train, of course. So what you can do is rent bikes. This is exactly what we are going to do. And then you go around the island, which is flat as a pancake, and just cycle around. So all you need is a bit of decent weather and you're in good shape. So let's do another stack upgrade to enable my environment variable. This time deployment should be much faster, which it is. Still redirecting though. That's strange. Why is that? Weather isn't that different from Norway? I'm not sure. I could imagine that Norway is even a bit cooler. I never liked summers in Germany when temperatures rose to 30, 35 degrees. So you still had 28 at night, and I really wasn't able to sleep at these temperatures. That's why I like the more moderate weather here in Ireland much better. Basically, it never goes below 0, at least here on the east coast, and never above 25. And I'm completely happy with that. So, what's wrong here? Ten degrees is perfect. Can still use a blanket. Huh. Now I'm a bit confused, and let me see. Cantina service show. It has the environment variable. Let's take a look inside the running container. Yep, it's set. My teacher got some time off during his holidays. I offered to unlock the classroom and be there. So yeah, that is what I'm doing for my vacation. It's not a bad thing though. And I think it's a nice touch that your teacher offers to allow you to be there. But what are you going to do exactly? Okay. So if I do a curl, I get a 200. So why? Is this some browser caching? This is really strange. So, will your teacher be there? So he does some extra lessons over the holidays? Which would be pretty awesome. I'm not sure if I understand you right there. What your teacher is going to do. So strange. Let me see if Chrome behaves in the same way. Nope. It works. So it's something with my other browser. Yes, there was planned a long holiday, but everyone in class didn't really care about having time off. Yeah, we're really motivated. Good for you. So the teacher didn't have anything planned either. And he said, okay, if you're there anyway, let's do something. Well, that's amazing. That's really great. You've got a great teacher there. Not sure if he's doing it out of the good of his heart or if that will be paid extra. But yeah, that's how it's supposed to work. Okay, boys and girls, I think apart from this caching issue and the SSL stuff, this has all been pretty straightforward. And to be honest, I leave it there. I just do my commit here. Let me see. I'm not too happy with the stack name here, since the image is called Friesdybox-website. I'm not sure if I like to have extra characters in there or not. Let me see, Docker image naming. Are there any rules? Image naming conventions. Let's see how Red Hat does it. Of course, okay, that's not. 3 tips for naming Docker containers from DigitalOcean. But that's actual running containers. probably paid. It's like a class through welfare. Okay, they hired someone. That's awesome. And of course it's double awesome that you are willing to put in the extra time. Pretty sure it'll really benefit you. And what kind of coding are you going to do? Is it Elixir coding and all that stuff? So do you actually do functional programming there? Host name, tag name, ASCII may contain lowercase and uppercase letters, digits, underscores, periods, and dashes. Okay. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then Elixir, which makes sense because JavaScript is a nice bridge technology to functional programming. Okay, so what I'm going to do is rename this. Just to be sure, let's see if there are any conventions on stack names. At least not explicit ones, I guess. Let's assume they follow the Docker file naming conventions, and so we name the stack Box website as well. Now it's consistent. And we can container stack rm f7 box website. And then we'll do a container stack install. And it should work again. Let's use Chrome for testing again. Yep, out of the box. I like it. Let's do a reload just to be sure. Yep, not embarrassing myself on stream. Fine. Which means I can add this. So, there are a few issues still. We don't have SSL support. That needs to be done. And then, of course, I'd like to couple Travis CI, where I'm currently testing the website and then deploying it to Heroku. I'd like to change that it'll run the tests and then deploy to my container platform here. So these are the two things that still need to be done, and I will probably simply create myself a few additional follow-up tasks for this, but this will be stuff for another live coding session, I guess. With this final push, I'll be done for today. However, I'd be happy to have a chat. This takes much less concentration than building stuff on screen. Okay, this song is called Disquieting Quagmire, and I don't think it fits the stream. Okay, any questions? Anything you'd like to ask? Anything you'd like to talk? So what I would like to point out is how simple it was to spin up this container image on our existing Docker orchestration platform. I simply did a few definitions here, how it should be integrated into the existing platform, and then I said install, and everything happened from there. Container automatically chooses one of the available nodes, so one of the available machines that this container could be deployed to, and then it integrates with the load balancer. That has to be set up in advance, of course, but once it runs, it actually takes 4 lines of YAML code here for the link and the 2 environment variables, and you're done. That's what I like about container. Maybe in a few weeks you will be teaching me Elixir. Yeah, I'd love that. I need a fresher brain than I have today, but I'd love to get a grasp on functional programming, because it seems so different from the stuff I've been used to for decades now. And I always love challenges. That's probably the reason why I'm doing my stuff here in the public. Well, okay, folks, I guess I'll call it a day, and I go downstairs where it's A, cooler, and where B, my new MIDI keyboard got delivered today, so I'll hook this up to my iPad, and I guess I'll just jam a bit, and maybe go outside for a bit as well. I will see you next Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Irish time, 4:30 p.m. Central European Summer Time, and I'll of course upload this recording to my repository, which is now at gvis/fullstacklive on GitHub. So until next Tuesday, thank you for watching. Don't forget to follow the channel, it really helps, and cheers.